Worried that Big will be looking to 2-0 the series in, where FaZe were doing the exact same thing to them just a week ago.
And we're into it. FaZe Clan to face out Big Clan. And let's see how it goes. coldzera with a smoke and a kit. tabseN's got a smoke and a flash for himself. Big already get this ball rolling. tabseN flashes to fly through soon enough, but niko's waiting for the push to come in into Mini. niko's expecting it, but keto is able to get away. Zantara's to find the kill initially. Rain will fall, and niko will go with him. That ratio isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, solid set of opening kills there for Big. Cold under a whole lot of heat. In at ramp. Ooh, dicey duels. Tizian, that headshot angle certainly favoring him. And tabseN's cleared a path towards A. That's where Big will finish things up. Tizian's still on the lurk, though. Cold able to dispatch of them. They'll keep the high ground advantage. They'll keep a couple players on the rafters for the retake. It's not looking all that likely here for FaZe. Cold has the kit. Kjerby committed towards lobby, but only on 7 HP.
This will be so difficult. Big are
been setting up to save. That makes a makes a whole lot of
I
sense.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I don't think there's actually enough teams to take advantage of this, especially teams who are very strong on the force buy. So for those teams, like an extra smoke and a nade can be the difference maker between, you know, round one or not. But disturbing signs to see niko not able to get that kill into keto initially. I know you mentioned it just now, so it does seem like a point I'm hammering home a bit too much. But the important thing to also consider is that in every single map, niko is also the one who is likely to take the most duels against the most different players. On Mirage, he plays more towards that connector window area. On nuke, he plays outside. On nuke, he can go inside mini. On nuke, he plays around, lonely box sometimes. So if you're not having a good game in that position, you're not going to have a good game at all. Oh, niko does find one. Okay, fourth time's the charm, I suppose. seule will also be tagged, so damage is dealt at the very least, and some of it does end up being lethal.
Yeah, they do make their way towards B. There's that early rotation available. See coldzera taking up a nuke. He does actually make a step, so they should have his position fairly under lock. They're simply waiting it out, though.
Brokey forced out of his position because of the Molotov, and with this, FaZe Clan are trying to fight back, but attempts have been somewhat thwarted. Rain will connect with one shot at the very least. Seemed like coldzera was in prime position to do the same, but bomb will go down. With this and the few flashbangs they have, maybe Big can keep a hold of this bomb site. There is no kit on the FaZe Clan side, despite having had money on it, on Kjerby for it, rather. They jump across, though, and that picked up map2 will get them the initial kill. Kjerby's Nova, not very friendly for Zantara's, as he walks in, picks up an AK afterwards, and keto's position is known. He's been flashed up by his own flash, and although he lines him up, he can't get the kill. Kjerby left with 1 HP. Brokey with a scout save, 2 AKs as well taken forward. This is the perfect round from FaZe Clan.
Yeah, that slow approach from Big doesn't quite work out. They had hoped to bide their time, catch FaZe on those rotations as they clinged desperately for site control. But that kill from niko, that's what really changed the pace there from Big. You could feel for keto in that situation as well. The 1v3 where he's just getting spammed through the box. It's uncomfortable to look at. Not one that he'll have hoped to be put in the position of. And after losing the pistol and answering right back, exactly where FaZe want to be.
Especially with the loss bonus of Big being now at the flat 1400. You're
I think
not
that happened
happy.
to the CT side on Mirage as well.
Yes, exactly. So this is the perfect space to be, actually, if you are FaZe Clan. Now, whether or not they can capitalize onto it, that's going to be a big question to ask. But hey, we'll have to wait to see. Wasn't Mirage a 0-3 initially? I swear it was a 0-3. Oh, you mean Big did that? Never mind. I understand.
Yep.
Rain Oh, niko's found Taps and takes him down with that. Already another early advantage going their way. niko getting some revenge for Mirage, but Brokey has been given some revenge for IEM, and one of those seems to be a little bit more impactful than the other.
Yeah, moving towards the lower site. We already see coldzera in a good position to deal with this. They're somewhat present of the fact, and Cold, he doesn't fully face. He doesn't fully expect them to take those fights, and keto, that's a freebie.
Rain almost even lines it up for the wallbang, but Xantares, who's turned around, dodges anyone from decontamination. Surson's taken down Rain. If I'm not wrong, that was just a straight wallbang despite being flashed. Wallbang, flash, and a headshot. That is style point and a half. And speaking of style points, Xantares will pick up some. Kirby's down to 11 HP. Wants to try and fight his way out of this, but instead he gets the hell out of there. And he says, you know what? We did this to Big. Why not let them do this to us as well? Guys, come on. It's only fair. And this is the exact same situation that you had in the second half, but now the tables have been flipped.
Yeah, difficult retake for him to win when he's on such low HP. So holding on to the rifle, the armor, the kit as well that FaZe can work off of in this round. You know, really started at this. I mean, keto, that's a free kill on Cold because he's just not prepared for the fights. Solid effort from Kirby to make it close, but taking too much damage in those duels to make that feasible.
Some awkwardness for sure coming out, though, from coldzera so far. Even earlier, I thought he would be able to find the kill with the deagle when there was a player in front of him. So you start to wonder, is this a sign of things to come? Or is this just something he will shake off and shrug off? Outside play comes in. They've gone for garage control. niko will be backing off. Big R. Oh, actually, this is the full outside control strategy where they'll smoke off garage and top credit card as well as locker room. They'll start to move in. This allows you to take much better duels, but Kirby's the one with the AK, and he's coming in. Can't save the day, though. Rain, 1 versus 4, sees he at the ready, and I love the decision for Big to go for that particular set of outside control smoke, so Michael, because it's just incredibly useful to be able to take those duels against pistols. Otherwise, what ends up happening is if you go for any other wall of smokes, pistols actually have a very good chance of just pushing through the smokes and killing you, or using those smokes to get into a closer range position for when they're dissipating. It's very awkward to play against pistols in that situation.
Yeah, we know Big like to run a few different variations of the outside take. You'll see deeper smokes so that they can take more main control, even cross garage. They've got all of that within their arsenal, so seeing those variations slightly earlier than I would have anticipated, but a solid round. And now FaZe get the AWP into Brokey's hands. I think this is where they'll feel the most comfortable. If they can get him online, of course, he started off Mirage very hot-handed.
Oh, had an opportunity, but can't quite land it. This time over, niko's actually headed over to Secret, which is the only time you... Well, not the only time. Sometimes they'll both go outside, but it's very rare that actually Brokey will play from outside that aggressively in the garage if niko's also nearby, which could be a bit of a tell. Rain, though. Tag damage comes in. Kid around the corner as well. They do realize that there is a player potentially inside Mini, so when keto clears out all these angles, he has to be careful. Brokey's holding, but Xantares has found niko. And we're expecting it, and he was watching for it. niko's still able to get one, though.
They missed the timing on keto, so he's wrapping all the way around. He could flank out the ramp players before Big even commit into the site. This is big. This is very worrying now for FaZe. Keto's position could find entries towards the A or the B bomb site now.
This is worrying. Keto and Tabson both frag in simultaneously, and Big already off to a very hot start. And if I'm not wrong, FaZe Clan don't have much of a choice other than saving. Big, however, are on the hunt. You see Xantares playing around the angles. They've got plenty of money. They know they can afford to lose pretty much every single player if they have to. Even taking one gun away would probably be worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, and it feels like FaZe are getting backed into corners in these rounds. Arguments to be made to save in each of them. Definitely hoping to hold on to these. for the follow-up. Brokey may have secured an exit. Of course, that gives information up to Big, who have some money to spare, so they can get these out of their hands. They're willing to take that risk.
Zandar has mollies. That's actually
yeah,
quite
but he's low
dangerous.
HP, so he doesn't want to go down with the bomb, I think is the problem.
If he thrown a nade over both Brokey and, well, maybe not Brokey, but coldzera definitely dies with the bomb. So far, though, Big looking very good going into Nuke. Not the same performance from FaZe that we saw in IEM New York European Edition, which always sounds weird to me. However, now we have to see whether or not Cold and Brokey can maybe just squeeze something together, you know? Fast-paced play for the Vensk. In goes Tizian. He has found all the room in the world. niko's been mollied out as well, so he can't really go in pursuit. Brokey has to be so much more careful, but he does have one of the save weapons, so maybe they can find something and pick up a gun, and as I say that, Tizian will connect with niko.
Yeah, very limiting factor in the round here for Brokey because of that early pressure. You could see he had to commit down the ramp. He forces a different player to take up that post. The objective remains the same. See if they can hold on to these rifles. If they can accommodate for the pistols, create some sort of supplementary space for them to get kills, maybe get hands on rifles themselves, that would be fine, but not looking to win this round, that is for sure. Big have so much control towards that lower side. Zantara is going to find one outside. Spots the head.
Oh!
Ooh, crisp little tap there from Zantara. That is clean. And Big, no problem whatsoever dispatching of the pistols. coldzera and Brokey to nestle in a corner to save.
Okay, you know what they say, cleanliness is a virtue, and Big are a very virtuous team right now. All 5 players kept alive. 1 tap's coming in as well. This is looking like a tough sell for FaZe Clan early on, especially when you consider this is their CT side. And you have to start to wonder how much of this is coming down. Oh, they're hunting. They might even have time. They have a flashbang as well. Zantara is ready to chuck it out. There it goes. Brokey's not flashed out by it. He does find one. coldzera will fall. Even if they get another kill into Brokey, that's incredibly important. FaZe Clan, they will be able to buy regardless, but the rounds after it become completely different because of it. Now, saving is no longer an effective strategy to the same extent.
Now we get to see the nice slow-mo of that one.
Gotta love it.
Quick adjustment there from Zantara. He's actually started the game off very well. 9-3. Kind of went under the radar a little bit because of how well these rounds have looked for Big. Hard to highlight individual players, but it has been still a team effort in terms of dealing with what FaZe have brought to the table. And you can see a timeout called. It has now since elapsed, and we'll see if there's anything changed. Brokey, I think, has to be the one that locks out outside. It has been niko in the past. We see that role kind of shifting between those two, and maybe Rain as well can be a point of emphasis. But Big have really been doing a good job of securing outside control without losing players. I think it's something that they'll hope to punish moving forward. Brokey, instead towards ramp, will maybe be given the opening duel in Searson. They're both holding the line, making sure that if the other pushes into them, they should have that duel dead to rights.
Flirting can be deadly, and Searson, well, he's never shied away from lethality to himself or the opponent. Brokey, however, just holding his position, letting Searson make the first move, and while both of those two have their tete-a-tete. Oh, no, he says to turn away. Beautiful stuff. Brokey gets the perfect timing right there as well. Rain also pushing through to Squeaky. We'll find yet another one, and with this, they have gained full control. Even niko chiming in with a couple of kills and giving himself a bit more space. Zantara will do what he can, which is insufficient. But a very important round comes in where they try to take some lobby control, where they actually try to be proactive. That's the first time we've seen that from FaZe. And this is where, you know, hopefully there's more to come.
Yeah, really well timed on the lobby crunch there from FaZe. Sometimes teams could get caught out expecting it in the early rounds as opposed to in the mid. And it was prompted by the utility outside from Big, so that may be the trigger. Tizian, first kill found on Rain as they fought through door, and they're diving deep into the vents once again. This will apply more pressure to Cold. His position, he's so committed, he had to double up if he wanted any level of success or space, but Brokey is there to plug up the hole immediately.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Brokey even waits out the flashbang in case, and Brokey still fighting. Brokey still not dead, and that carries. How many opportunities do you need to land a shot? Brokey says, I'll give you all of them. And he still doesn't manage it. Third round on the board for FaZe Clan. And Big, despite taking down Cold over there, it's just Brokey's too much.
That's exactly why you get 3 pitches in baseball. You know, the first one doesn't quite work out. The second, sure, but the third, that's a home run.
I don't think that's how baseball works, by the way. I don't think home runs just come on the third pitch every time.
Yeah, they definitely don't. That's just me projecting and hoping. Tizian, oh my goodness!
Tizian just takes control there and then, and suddenly there is hope. He has picked up an AK. Brokey's been tagged, and yes, he responds, but does it matter? coldzera now has to fight back. They've got themselves rifles, and they will try to make it work. And just on the clock, Keto waiting for the push to come through. They've gone for the one-way smoke. Tizian's just hiding away behind the small little corner. But niko, he will take this duel. He will take this point. Tizian's waiting for him to come through. 2 kills so far. Can it be a few more? Tizian has been spotted, and niko takes it away, leaving it all on Saracen. And despite a heroic start, despite a bulldozer entrance, they can't clean it up. And sure, damage is dealt, but FaZe keep 3 players alive.
Jeez, that is ridiculous from Tizian to open up the round. Unbelievable that he gets both kills so rapidly. It's a spray on Kjerby, but the headshot almost instant on the following player in Rain. Maybe that's a bit of susceptibility there for FaZe. That A-side hold not looking the cleanest, if that's what a Deed can do. Getting caught with their pants down. We'll see the full investment back in from FaZe. A much slower round as well for Big as they're lining up utility for outside.
Well, they have decided to let things play out a bit more. Got to keep an eye on niko though. His positioning slightly different to what we've seen so far. Playing just outside of the mini doors as he wants to maybe nestle backwards. Flashbangs and smokes all flying through. niko still yet to fire a bullet. And Brokey, well, he's given himself a one-way smoke, and with that, finds Tabsit as well. 5 versus 4. niko, nice shots to find Keto as well. His stealth has finally paid off, although Zentaras will respond and take control over the lower area. Brokey's still in the vicinity and will be looking to contest. Brokey from glass. Molotovs and smokes will start to come through, but none of them obscuring his vision or his line of fire, where Saracen just happens to be. Tizian to connect with one more, gives them a chance, but with these players being as low as they are and Brokey being untouchable, I have a feeling that Tizian's about to say goodnight. With that, it does try and go for something, but it's just not enough. Big. They will let FaZe Clan equalize, and despite the incredible early start, Brokey has been the one to start to bring things back.
Yeah, it almost seemed like nobody had any idea where Brokey was at any given point.
Yep.
He pushes through a smoke to get the kill in secret. Then he's shooting people in the back of the head. I mean, you see this kill from niko as well, as he was the patient player outside supporting and allowing that play from Brokey.
Brokey didn't push through the smoke, by the way. He threw his own smoke for a one-way.
Well, I mean, he's pushing through his own smoke.
Well, that's true.
For that kill. I'm not wrong there.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe not accurate, but I'm not wrong.
Let me roleplay Twitch chat for you.
Okay, man. Well, it's an equalizing round nonetheless for FaZe, and it has been Brokey to activate in these past couple rounds. And it gives him a bit more wiggle room.
Well, FaZe still don't really have much economic wiggle room, although niko is sitting quite pretty. this could be the round where that changes. One thing to keep in mind, though, is if you look over towards like how statistically these players do, Brokey does always perform really well on Nuke. Nuke's actually statistically his best map. He sits on a 1.14 average rating over the past few months, which is coincidentally also his overall average rating just last month. And Tara's, though, very important kill onto niko early on. And with this is a lot more maneuverability. And Tabson, yes, he's tagged up, but seems like more likely than not, Brokey will not be too happy taking this duel, and that's why he backs off. Tizian connects with another in the meanwhile, and they have 3 rifles now against 3 of the CTs, and now down to 2. coldzera, who is trying to come back, it does fall, and with this and another kill from Tizian, everything is falling apart big. But 25 seconds left on the clock are now at a 5 versus 1 in a round that was a half buy essentially. I don't even know how that happens.
The limited buys have been dangerous for Big. Almost more so than the rifles in some of the rounds on this T side. And Kirby will sit behind the air conditioning unit just to see if he can stay alive. And, oh, unlucky. Zentares does go out and clear it. So no rifle saved over. A clean round there from Big on the half buy to stop the defensive for FaZe. This is now dwindling the money of that CT side. Hard to get a grips on that in any capacity, even when you are ahead. And this could be a tipping point. If FaZe equalize, then they may still have a successful CT side, but 6-7 for Big is really the sweet number that they'll feel confident and happy with.
Bega once again going for the mini hugging play to take control of the garage, but niko's found a gap in the smoke, and Zentares will now look to perhaps even explore that very same gap. niko, does he realize that these players have gone down secret? It seems like coldzera at the very least is aware of it, as both he and Brokey have made their way down under. 1:12 on the clock, and coldzera's positioning is perfect. It's a great little off angle to hold, and once they start to walk in through decontamination, this will be a very difficult spot to take him off of. Serson seems to be somewhat aware at least, but not entirely, as Cole will be brought down. Zentares just takes the face and takes the peek. Brokey, yes, he's good for 1, but the bomb should go down. Brokey is going to fall. niko to get a kill in the meanwhile as well, so it is a 2 versus 3. Bomb to be planted. Rain trying to make his way over from decontamination, but by the time he's here, the bomb will be down. The gun will be out, but not the trigger pulled. Zentares is left in a 1v2 to try and get a 4K to win this round out. Bomb's not entirely planted for him. I believe there might be a small angle where he needs to push out directly to actually get that one away. And once he's been mollied off, that definitely makes it more difficult. Flashbang as well is perfect. He is just being driven away further and further. Peeks in! No scope! Peeks out again! And now Zentares knows it's all in the palm of his hand. He knows it's not being diffused. He's got the information. He's got the time. And he's got the play. Zentares with the 3K. Takes Big on to the 7th round. What in the world was that?
How do you have the confidence to no-scope that in a crucial moment? That is so ridiculous from Zentares. And he only needed that 1 kill.
Yep. Crazy. And then with 10 HP, he jumps across the other door, which forces Rain off the defuse. That's just crazy. That's crazy. And no, I don't mean the now CIS team that just lost their roster. But what a round from him. Completely destroys the FaZe Clan economy as well. FaZe Clan, they don't even have much of a loss bonus. So the remainder of this half is going to be just a little bit tricky.
Yeah, Zentares is having a stormer of a game for Big. AK, AWP, he's doing it all. It doesn't really matter what you give him. I like the play here from FaZe. Investigating lobby. It's a typical response from CT sides to take lobby control when you lose outside. Especially if you have nobody that can really spot for any outside presence. Ooh, Disney does get caught with the flash out, so that gets a little worrying, but is able to adapt in time.
Might actually be the first time I've ever seen that accidental flash, but hey, it is what it is. Some neighbors come and knocking, and he says, I hate neighbors. Which don't we all at this point, really? Let's be honest. Neighbors can be very frustrating. Rain.
Can be.
Indeed. You know what else is very frustrating?
Oh.
Dying to keto. But you were saying yes. Oh, no, you weren't. You were not saying anything. Niko is the one who's doing the talking, and he has given himself just a few talking points. Can he get another? No, he can't. Okay, keto. That's fine, too. Brokey, nice shots. I will give him that. I'm sorry for interrupting your neighbor.
No, yeah, just because we were talking about neighbors, you know, I remember growing up, my brother brought a drum kit, you know, he's trying to learn how to do that. It was an electric one, so it was quite quiet, but our downstairs neighbor...
bad neighbors, basically.
I mean, the downstairs neighbor, it's like the middle of the day, it's like, that tapping is super loud. They go and actually get like something that can read decibel levels, right? And there's basically no noise coming from this. I don't know why you're complaining. It's like, why is it so incessant? Make it stop. So he had to stop drumming. At least when they were in the house.
Wow. I'm sorry.
I mean, I felt like we were being the reasonable ones. You know, we're trying to get accurate measurements, you know?
Well, I mean, if you go as far as that, then sure, why not? I agree with you there. But how far will FaZe Clan go? Their utility is dwindling down, as is the chances of them being able to come back into this if they don't do something soon, which is going to be coming into hands of Rain and Kirby, both finding a killer piece. Serson re-peeks out again and again, and it seems like he wants to keep on going. Rain to fall, and I don't mean from the sky, I mean right into the ground. Tapson peeks out as well, but coldzera's off angle, too much to deal with. Still don't have control over the bomb if you are on Big Clan. And with Serson revealing his position, firing off a shot, he needs to get this kill soon. Where is Tizian? Tizian's coming in from heaven. Serson gets flashed up entirely. Are they expecting Tizian's position? They should realize that Serson has been alone for a while now. Tizian peeks in, and now you've got two different prongs of attack to deal with. Serson peeks forward, but Niko will find the better of him. Tizian now left in a 1v2. Can he make this work? 30 seconds in position known. No bomb, no real utility after that flashbang's been used as well. Niko and coldzera, two daunting names on the other side, and they're both in off angles. They're both in perfect positions. And honestly, man, if Serson kills Niko instead of wallbanging him, I think that round's over.
Yeah, I could have painted a different picture. Instead, it's just blood splattered on the wall, but no frag behind it. It's again a lobby crunch from FaZe that actually deals with what Big were setting up for. They dropped the bomb. That's why Serson was so committed to taking those fights. The Big, you're sitting on 8 rounds on the T side. You're going to be happy with that. Sure, you can get more. Still the capacity for one is it's the last of the half. Niko getting chipped down by Molotov damage early. He's playing close to the smokes, hoping to catch something. But Brokey, okay. I think that was straight through the smoke. I don't think there was even a gap the side he shot him from, but he'll happily take that one. Brokey finding a secondary frag as well on the rotation. Big have to work from a significant numbers disadvantage to work this last round of the half, and it's made even worse by Cold.
And what this is Serson and Zantaris, two players who've been having an absolute banger of the game so far. But Serson, well, he's waiting for Rain to maybe push in. Molotov is there as well. Zantaris will be able to take advantage of that beautiful team play coming out between these two players. And the bomb is now planted for either one of them. Serson, though, is left very lonely as he pushes through. He gets the kill. Serson's ready to pull off a Zantaris. Now he's waiting for the push to come through. He expects it. The smoke, though, doesn't lend itself to his favor. And with that, we'll go to a short break as Big go to their CT side. Can FaZe bring it back?
El vaciló, no le hablen de amor a Cupido mató. Ella se cansó, se rebeló y el corazón corazón de piedra lo convirtió. Se despierta cool con los bolsillos full. No depende de nadie, esa es su virtud. No le importa nada, esa es la actitud. ¿A dónde va a invitarla si tiene más que tú? Ella prende la busca, come la cita buena. De esa que la fuma y la lleva a la estrella. Ella no quiere un bobo que la llame. Todos esos trucos se los sabe. Yo lo sé, me llamará a las 10 contando alguna historia para que yo la vaya a ver. Y yo lo cogeré y lo pasaremos bien, porque yo le gusto, y ella a mí me gusta. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina. Ella es una mataquila asesina. Como serpiente te baila y te domina. Si te pica no hay medicina. Es maléfica como Angelina. Es como una Glock que nunca se tranca. Si te tira clic-clock, caíste en la trampa. La nueva religión, una mala santa. En la calle creció, es una malandra. Ella prende la busca, come la cita buena. De esa que la fuma y la lleva a la estrella. Ella no quiere un bobo que la llame. Todos esos trucos se los sabe. Pero yo lo sé, me llamará a las 10 contando alguna historia para que yo la vaya a ver. Y yo lo cogeré y lo pasaremos bien. Tomamos un par de copas para que se ponga fresh. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina. Ella prende la busca, come la cita buena. De esa que la fuma y la lleva a la estrella. Ella no quiere un bobo que la llame. Todos esos trucos se los sabe. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina. Ella está por encima, le gusta la calle pero se mantiene fina. Tiene un flow que asesina. Ella te domina.
On the terrorist side, Big have made a statement, and the statement is that FaZe shall not pass. The question is FaZe going to be the Balrog, or is FaZe going to be Gandalf the White Resurrected coming back into this one? Tabson to lead the charge into Squeaky. Michael, Yumi, Cassidy with me as always. I'm T-Titan bringing to you the second half. Tabson bringing to you the first blood, as Serson will be the one to take it away. Tabson comes in second. Brokey to get one as well, but it's Tizian who's missing some shots. Only to connect with one. Still advantage the way of Big.
Yeah, and they're trapped here towards ramp now. FaZe don't have many options, and Tabson even pushes further behind them. 3 kills for him in the pistol. And he's had a pretty shy showing so far for Big. It has primarily been Zentaris, the man himself. 19 kills coming into the half, but he doesn't contribute to the pistol.
I just saw that.
He's still sitting pretty. Yeah, he's been having a fantastic game thus far, and we'll expect to see more from Searson and Tabson on this CT side. Far more lenient that side of the table.
It'll be a little bit harder for FaZe on the terrorist side, especially when you consider that their best player by a country mile has been Brokey. He's 17-8 right now, 17-7 obviously before the pistol round. And when you've got a score like that, heading into the T side where you can't op anymore to the same extent, that's very difficult to come back into. So FaZe Clan, they'll have to wait to see whether or not they have another player who can step up, or if Brokey is just... you know, he's just bought a new Superman cape and he feels like flaunting it. We'll have to find out.
Well, it seems like they wanted to do a boost, but that crumbled very quickly. So the MP9s, the FAMAS, they'll sweep it up there for Big.
Ooh, 0 casualties.
Yeah, really clean round on the anti-eco there from Big. And it's something that... Yeah, something that FaZe were struggling to get accomplished on their CT sides. It was quite often the deagles and those deco rounds that were threatening their economy on CT.
A very stark contrast to what we saw in Mirage from FaZe Clan, where they were just winning anti-half by, anti-force by after anti-half by, anti-force by every single time without a single player being left, without a single player really even being touched on their side. So now the shoe might be on the other foot, and as it turns out, it has steel toes and kicks pretty hard. So can FaZe get it off before they have their shins really kicked in? We'll have to wait to find out. FaZe full AKs. A very slow default to come through initially, which is always a little bit surprising to me whenever I see a nuke without Molotovs. I feel like slow defaults are sometimes going to work out against you if you can't flush out CT's late round with the Molotov. So expect to see a faster play to come in soon enough.
Good wall deployed here from FaZe. Not going to have that same gap that we saw Big fall victim to. niko even creeping past the smoke. Oh, I don't think tabseN's quite prepared for this. niko holding the angles. Rain actually facing. It's Keto with the UMP that comes out ahead, but finally niko activates the backstab. So a bit more pressure applied outside. The rotation through heaven is looking likely as they look to approach this A site, but they've lost another player in niko. Kjærby able to respond in kind, but Tizian finding trades right back, eventually dealt with, still into a 2-on-2, and Cold has spotted a player isolated but has no reinforcements. Kjærby can't get anything done either. He was low HP, so seule can adapt. Big. A solid round to get on the table, although it did have its shaky beginnings.
Oh, absolutely. Big. You expected maybe a little bit more resistance from FaZe, and obviously it does deliver. Big, despite being on the inferior weaponry, though, will be able to get away with the round. And now, I mean, this is probably a 7-12 you've got your eyes out on, when FaZe was up a pretty reasonable amount, actually, initially. So we'll have to wait to see. niko, Brokey, and Kjærby, all of them having been tagged down so heavily early on. Michael, this is where things get very iffy for FaZe Clan. This is where the pressure really starts to mount up, and seule and Tizian are just finding kills through the flashbangs. Not a single player lost so far. coldzera will not be able to find anyone either, and this is just money being made all over the place.
Yeah, damage done, but like you said, no casualties. So they are going to have an additional cushion coming into a follow-up gun round here from FaZe. Like you said, the limitations of what Brokey can bring to the table now on this T side, with his hands not being graced with the AWP much so in this half. Don't expect it either. Does bring into question who steps up next for FaZe. Very reliant on him on the CT side.
Yes. Especially when you consider that, you know, statistically, Kjærby and Rain are not players who show up on nuke. It's generally, you know, Brokey, it's generally niko. Those are the two main players, and then Cold contributes. Cold is having a terrible game so far. He's not performing to the best of his abilities at all, and we know that he's got more in the tank, but it doesn't matter when you're not burning it. That's really the big question that you have to ask yourself. Flashes and whatnot still going through. Wall of smokes to keep control of the outside. And seule blocks a man out of air. That's why you don't jump when you're going for the cross. Of course, it is still Xantares to find another one. coldzera does take him down, but with that damage done, coldzera is literally... You could look at him in a mean way and he'd die.
Let's hope nobody gives him a stern gaze as they look to wrap this A site. Kjærby, space created, but he's going to get taken down early. Cold, tickled to death. Brokey, 1-on-4, not looking likely. Made sure to hit the dust early by tabseN. It comes by a very collective effort there by Big. Individual frags found, accomplished, making sure to peek off one another on the contact. Really, really clean stuff. Now only 3 from potentially closing out this series in a 2-0, that where especially coming into it, given the track record, the recent match history. Might have painted it the other direction here for FaZe, but it's not quite the same story, not quite the same tune.
These Tech Knights have given FaZe some solace in the past. Will this be one of those rounds? Zantares is primed and ready, spots the bomb and drops the bomb. With it, Zantares repositions. Serson is backing him up from glass, and he will continue to frag out of control. Zantares finally falls, but Kirby's left very lonely, and you know what that means. He's about to go down. 14-7, Big have doubled up FaZe's scoreline. FaZe yet to show any signs of life on the terrorist side, and yet to show any reason to believe in them at this point.
Yeah, what is this? It almost feels like Big are speedrunning this CT half.
Yep. It is kind of ridiculous at this point, especially when you consider Zantares hasn't even been given a chance to be finding all those many kills. He's not been in the same positions as he was on the T side, where he's clutching and entering and doing everything. This is a lot of a team effort, like you mentioned earlier on, and this is fantastic stuff to see from Big so far.
Ooh.
But that's a nice little kill to find at the very least. niko does contribute to another one of tabseN's deaths.
Look at the space that sereson's denying with the AWP, though. That's the pathway to the bomb as well. Tizian does show their hand. Do they know that sereson will be primed on that angle with the AWP? He gives it up. Tizian's actually looking for more. He's gone on top of T roof. Will they expect a rotation as large as this? They do rotate the bomb out and into position where Keto does strike from up high.
No.
It's that top red play. He jumps up late with the smokes acting as coverage. And all Kirby can do is deny additional information. He finds one kill, but it has to be the 1-on-3 fully converted. Only 2 more players to find. The bomb dropped and not a whole lot of space. sereson's head does get offered up, though.
Yep. Kirby can't connect with it, though, which would have made things a lot easier. Does pick up the bomb, but when there's 35 seconds, options are highly limited. The one major point to consider is if he goes over towards the A bomb site, now he's going to be... Obviously, he has no way of knowing that that is the incorrect choice, but with seresson dropping down as well, he is making his way over. Zantares can rotate from vents as well. Kirby's going for the bomb plant. seresson opens it up. seresson lined it up, but not connecting. Kirby on 7 does get a nice little tag in. Nade is well timed, but not well placed, and with that, seresson makes up for his earlier sins. And it's okay, Michael. We can heave a sigh of relief. We're fine. Big's up to 15. But what a way to do it. Keto getting up on top of red, completely taking control. FaZe is not expecting the flank either to come through later on. And even though it's a 2v3 rather, the second that Kirby's left alone, that becomes almost impossible.
And Keto's not the player you expect to be put in those positions either for Big. So that really comes out of left field. FaZe fully unaware that that was something that they were willing to run in the late round. And it's last chance saloon. They haven't gone any rounds here on this T side so far. Big have been making this look pretty easy on CT side. I thought they might fall victim to some of what FaZe may bring to the table. They looked good in their last matchup, but it's a completely different story. Solid entry for Brokey. That will give them a bit more room to work with. How can they circumnavigate the rotations here from Big? Keto to look outside, make sure that there's nothing happening. No quick flanks available over towards A. Zintar is helping to clear things out. It's a 1-for-1 exchange outside. And FaZe are still slowing it down. They're still dictating the pace.
Kirby to find one trade is there, but Big in a 2v3 have finally been put in a position where you start to wonder, is FaZe going to find themselves around? And with one more kill added to the tally, I have to say this should be their first on their terrorist side. seresson, 1-on-3, does find the pass. Oh, is it? It's a 1v1. He's found the bomb. seresson says tea time was wrong, and it's all down to him versus niko. The 1v1 to decide the fate of FaZe. niko, the man behind the helm, and who better to take charge? Who better to take point but seresson?